Welcome everyone to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to dive into this one with you. Today we're unpacking a really moving, visually stunning fable. It's a story that tackles the crushing reality of extreme poverty, but mixes it with this incredible, rules-based magic system and a perfectly executed arc of karmic justice. It is so much more than just a simple fairy tale. Honestly, it's basically a masterclass in how human intentions, both pure and corrupt, completely shape the world around us. So get comfortable and let's explore the magic of the clay stove together.
The support of the hungry, the boon of the poor, hunger runs away when the fire of the stove burns. Just picture stumbling upon those exact words, engraved on a half-buried object in the middle of a frightening, desolate jungle. That right there is the mystical mantra at the heart of our source text today. It promises this miraculous escape from starvation. But to really get the weight of this magic, we need to dial it back a bit. We have to look at the incredibly grim, very unmagical reality our protagonist was stuck in right before this discovery.
Chapter 1: The Blow of Poverty and Hunger.
Look, before any miracles happen, the story grounds us in a deeply sobering situation. It's a stark reminder of the sheer desperation driving our main character, Mohini. Her suffering is entirely systemic. She isn't just broke, she's completely trapped. Her husband, Kishan, works his fingers to the bone, but every single cent of his wages is instantly swallowed by the local zamindar, the wealthy landlord, just to pay off the interest on a debt. It's brutal. Her kids are crying from hunger, their clay stove is ice cold, and her elderly in-laws are fading fast. She is pushed to the absolute brink, right? She even has to swallow her pride and beg her hesitant neighbor, Renu, for just a tiny handful of rice. And as if that's not enough, when she bravely goes into the dangerous parts of the jungle to forage for firewood, she gets openly mocked by a village elder named Bansi Kaka. I mean, she has every reason in the world to be bitter, yet her intentions remain fiercely focused on one thing: keeping her family alive.
Moving on to Chapter 2, The Magical Stove of Santosh. So pushed into the darkest, most terrifying parts of the jungle, places even seasoned woodcutters absolutely refuse to go, Mohini spots something strange. It's gleaming behind some thorny brush. She clears the branches away and unearths this ancient, beautiful clay stove covered in intricate blue engravings. But obviously this is no ordinary relic. As she wipes it down, a cool, fragrant breeze sweeps through the trees, and a voice actually speaks from within the clay. This is Santosh, and the lore here is just tragic but beautiful. Get this. Santosh used to be a highly skilled royal chef who cooked with immense love and selflessness. But a jealous minister poisoned his food, which led the king to banish him. While he was fleeing through this very jungle, the minister's goons hunted him down and murdered him. Because his whole life was devoted to feeding others with a pure heart, his soul literally became bound to this blue stove. Now he pledges to feed families, but, and this is a huge but, only those whose intentions are as pure and selfless as his were.
Which brings us to Chapter 3, Benevolence and Miracles.
Mohini is terrified, for sure, but she's so driven by the hope of feeding her starving kids that she takes a massive leap of faith. She hoists this heavy, magical artifact onto her head and carries it all the way back to her weeping husband. Okay, let's watch this magic actually activate. First, she sets the beautiful blue stove right in the center of her courtyard. Now remember, she has no matches, no rice, no lentils, nothing. She simply places an empty clay pot on top and makes a silent, completely selfless wish for just a basic porridge for her children. Instantly, step 2, a warm golden flame ignites all on its own. And step 3, that empty pot miraculously fills right up to the brim, radiating this rich, mouth-watering aroma of pure ghee and sweet jaggery porridge. This magic isn't powered by some complicated spell. It is fueled entirely by her genuine, unselfish desire to nurture her family.
Now here's where it gets really good. What does Mohini do next? This is where her true virtue shines. She doesn't hoard this miracle for herself. As that divine aroma drifts through the village, who comes knocking? Bansi Taka, the exact same guy who cruelly mocked her that very morning, and Renu, the neighbor who hesitated to help her out. Instead of turning them away or, gloating, Mohini welcomes them with a warm smile and hands them both a steaming bowl of magical porridge. She literally answers cruelty with absolute grace.
But word travels fast. Chapter 4, The Zamindar's Massive Greed.
You know how it is in a small village? A miracle happens and the news spreads like wildfire, reaching the ears of our main antagonist. And the Zamindar's logic here is just completely twisted. He literally declares, "That stove is mine, because the land he works on is mine, and I am the richest in the village."
He genuinely believes his wealth entitles him to absolutely everything. So he marches straight over to Mohini's house with his thugs. Completely ignoring the family's tears and pleas that they'll starve without it, he violently confiscates the magical stove, hauling it back to his massive mansion. He even threatens to auction off their home if they put up a fight. It is just a devastating abuse of power.
Let's pause and look at the stark contrast in their motivations here, because it's super important. On one side, Mohini wished only for humble porridge, purely out of love for her family. And that triggered a warm, life-giving golden flame. On the flip side, the Zamindar? He commands gold. He doesn't even want food. He tells his wife to put a pot on the stove and demands that it produce a massive pile of gold coins. He's trying to force a tool of deep compassion to fuel his own toxic greed. And if we remember the rules set by the spirit of Santosh, yeah, this is absolutely not going to end well for him.
Chapter 5. The True Fruit of Good Intentions.
Picture this. The Zamindar and his wife are standing greedily over this beautiful blue stove, rubbing their hands together, just waiting for their big payout. Let's trace how this karmic retribution goes down. Within seconds of him aggressively demanding gold, that magical golden flame violently shifts into a terrifying pitch-black fire. Then, minutes later, instead of the sweet smell of ghee, this horrifying foul stench completely fills the entire mansion, literally making them choke. And finally, the explosive instantaneous reaction. The black flames shoot out, but they don't burn flesh. Oh no, they target greed. In a flash, the Zamindar's expensive clothes, his massive storehouses of grain, all of his hoarded wealth, it instantly turns to worthless black ash.
And right through the choking black smoke, the booming voice of Santosh echoes out from the clay stove. I am not a furnace of greed that snatches from others. Those who do receive only ash. It is such a powerful, uncompromising rebuke. The stove aggressively protects its core purpose. It flat out refuses to be a machine for the wealthy to exploit the poor. It serves as a literal mirror, reflecting the Zamindar's dark, greedy soul right back at him and turning his life into the ashes it deserves.
And you know what? The karmic lesson actually sticks. It completely transforms him. The Zamindar is broken and absolutely terrified. His face is blackened with soot, and he runs barefoot through the village, dragging his wife along all the way back to Mohini's humble courtyard. He falls to his knees, begs for her forgiveness, and returns the magical stove. But the resolution goes even further than that. Realizing that honest labor is the only real wealth, he immediately waives the oppressive debts of the entire village. He commits to working honestly from that day forward. And the moment Mohini gently touches the stove again, it goes right back to its beautiful, peaceful state.
So, what does Mohini do now? With infinite food, she could have just created a village of dependency, right? Instead, she sets up this brilliant socioeconomic plan. For the helpless, the elderly, the destitute, they receive free, warm meals every single day, no questions asked. But for the able-bodied villagers, they're guaranteed a hearty meal for sure, but only in exchange for performing honest work. She uses the magic not to create laziness, but to foster a thriving, hardworking, and well-fed community. It's a real game changer and a great reminder that true support empowers people rather than just handing them a free ride.
This story leaves us with such a profound lesson, beautifully wrapped up in all this magical lore. The Zamindar had all the gold in the world, yet he was completely bankrupt in spirit, and his greed literally turned his empire to ash. Meanwhile, Mohini had nothing but her pure intentions, and she ended up feeding an entire village. So what does this all mean for us? I'll leave you with this question to reflect on. Is true wealth found in the endless accumulation of gold, or is it found in the honest, selfless hard work that uplifts an entire community? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.